Okay, so this looks like I'm wearing the same clothes, but actually this is the same day because I just did a video for Friday because I missed Friday. This is actually Saturday, so this is the video for Saturday. And I said, oh man, I just said in the earlier video that it was Ezekiel 13 to 15. That was the day before that. It's all confusing. So the last video I did was for Ezekiel 16, 17. This is now Ezekiel 18 to 20. Okay, so hopefully that's cleared up. Too bad you can't go back and edit the videos. So in the video from yesterday, we were talking about how the children belong to Yahweh. He considers them his children, and the purpose of them is to expand the kingdom. We are to have children. They're his. They belong to him. We raise them. We're raising the princes and princesses of the kingdom, so that they can fulfill their responsibilities of going out and influencing the world for the kingdom, with the kingdom, for the king. And today, as we're reading through Ezekiel, we again come across the children. And in this case, Yahweh is explaining that the children and the parents are separate. He's explaining that the children are their own person. They are their own person. That should ring a few bells for parents who consider children just an extension of themselves. They're not even a reflection of the parents. They're not supposed to be a reflection of the parents. They're supposed to be a reflection of the Father, who is the parent. And he's saying each person will be accountable for their own actions, for their own sins, for their own victories, and children will be responsible for themselves. Parents will not be answerable for them. Parents will have to answer if they neglected their responsibility and neglected their duty. That's what parents will be responsible for. But if a parent was faithful and did what they're supposed to do, and the child grows up to be a rotten child and abandons God and all that, that's on the child. That is on the child, because God considers that child to be his, and that is an individual person there. That can take some adjustment to get into our head. You know, we love them dearly. They are flesh of our flesh and blood of our blood, but their spirit is the Father's, and their design is his. Their personality is what he gave them. He gave them their heart. He gave them their mind. So he gave them their soul. So what they do with all the things that God has given to them, they will be held accountable for that. So guess what, parents? Our responsibility then is giving them choices, is having them understand what their choices are, and helping them understand the difference between a bad choice, a good choice, and the best choice. That's our responsibility. And really, when it comes down to ministry, that's what we're doing in this ministry of reconciliation. Also, is helping people understand the choices that God has given, the freedom that he has given to make these choices, what our choices are, and the fact that God will hold us accountable to the choices that we made. If we made a choice to follow Jesus Christ, then there are consequences to that. There's great rewards. There's all kinds of things. A relationship, intimacy. He is a rewarder. That's what the Scripture says. That we have to believe he is, and that he is a rewarder of all who seek him. But for those who decide against him, there are consequences to that, because he is life, and without him there is no life. And that's as simple as that. He's given us an age where we get to get reconciled with him, and that goes for every child. That goes for every adult, and that's important for us to understand. There's no guarantees. The Scripture says that, you know, if we train a child, if we train a child well, if we train them in love and relationship, it's not just the statutes, it's not just the case laws, it is the relationship. It's the relationship. Come on, even in the Old Testament, that's clear. It's about the relationship It's not about the do's and don'ts. It's about the relationship. So if we can train them in the relationship, the do's and don'ts will follow, simply because they love him and they want to guard the priorities of his heart. So that's where we spend our time training. We teach them the priorities of God's heart. We teach them of his love. We demonstrate that for them. And sometimes that can be hard. Sometimes it can be very trying. Sometimes in our flesh we want to respond some way, but we know in our heart that we have to swallow that. We have to respond in a way that is beneficial to the child. Not revengeful, not where we get to feel better about things, but beneficial for them. Anyway, I don't mean to make these videos on parenting, because there's principles here that apply to our neighbors, that apply to our spouse, that apply to our parents, that apply to our fellow Christians. It's all there. So you be blessed today. What a wonderful Saturday it is. Get all your chores done. If you don't have chores, and just relax and enjoy the day. I'm really looking forward to joining together for worship tomorrow. God bless.